turned around and go, wow, I really don't know what I'm talking about a lot of times. I really better think about what I say more. And even now, I'm just a lot more careful about making absolute statements. I don't make any more absolute statements or things like that, because you want to be sure that you're conveying the right information to people.
What were you saying before the podcast started? We were going to bring it up again about veganism coming from a religion.
Yeah, veganism started with the Seventh Adventist Church, I believe. So there was a group of people that had a church, and the guy that led the church as part of the church was like, they were following the Jewish kosher laws or whatever at first, and it was like no pigs or whatever else, shellfish, I think.
Yeah.
No pigs or shellfish. And then the guy just said, like, it just sort of took it to a next level and said, like, no meat, no animal products at all. And so these people that were in this church were like the first real group of vegans. The Church of Seventh Adventist, I think, is what it's called, is where it came from. Like 1863 is when that like movement, I guess, started. I'm sure it started early. I'm sure people were doing it earlier than that, obviously, but I think that that's where the roots came in. And I just find that really interesting, because it does seem like a religion. It seems like it seems like a lot of times you get. I get called out a lot on Instagram and stuff like that from people that are vegan, saying like, I can't believe you do this and blah, blah, but I would never go on their page and say anything to them at all.
Well, they're proselytizing. I mean, that's a big part of this whole community. There's the moral high ground, they stand on it, and then a lot of these people, especially people with vegan in their name and their screen name, they always go after people.
Yeah.
And they they try to shame people, and what they're doing is, in many ways, is a very good thing. They're not participating in factory farming, right? They're not participating in the horrors that we see in these fucking PETA videos where you see cows and pigs and chickens that are just being tortured. All that is disgusting. And that should be eliminated and shouldn't be a part of modern culture. But in terms of like the humane raising and killing of animals, look, they're not going to live forever. And I don't care what you say. I'm not into animal suffering. I don't think they should suffer. But if you try to say that people are not herbivores, or that people are herbivores, rather, and that we're not omnivores, you're crazy. It's just not true. It's not fact. And they show pictures. These are not the teeth of a carnivore. These are the teeth. We're not carnivores, stupid. We're omnivores.
They show you the intestines and everything.
Yeah, we look real similar in our teeth to fucking chimps. Chimps are omnivores. And the human diet is a very complex thing. When you attach that human diet to ideology, then it gets really screwy, because you're not dealing with people that are being honest about dietary, like what is really important, and as far as dietary requirements, how your body functions, what the studies show. If you look at it objectively, the first thing anybody should say, across the board, get rid of all the fucking sugar. That's number one.
Yeah.
Get rid of all the refined carbohydrates. Eat more vegetables. I think, you guys don't. Eat more vegetables. Eat healthy fats. Get some form of omega fatty acids. Recognize that the omega fatty acids that you get from flaxseed oil are not as bioavailable. It's fact from studies. Not as bioavailable as the omega fatty acids you get from fish and meat.
Yeah.
They're just not. The meat, the protein. You say, well, broccoli has 15 grams of protein. It's not as bioavailable, you fucks, and you know it's not. It's just not.
Yeah.
So you can get bioavailable protein from plants. You get it from hemp. You get it from quinoa. You get it from peas. Pea protein's very good. But it's not as good as the protein that you get from meat. It's just not. Can it sustain you? Yes, it can. Can you be a healthy person and live a fucking balanced life on a completely vegetarian diet? 100%. But I would always recommend eat free-range eggs. You're not hurting a chicken. Nothing gets hurt. It is free food. I have chickens. They roam around. They eat vegetables. Nobody eats them. The chickens live a fucking healthy life. They lay eggs. We eat the eggs. The eggs are healthy as fuck. Eat those. Find a place that has free-range chickens. Eat the eggs. It's not vegan, but it is vegetarian. If you want to get rid of dairy and you don't want, I get it, man. I've seen dairy farms. It's fucked up. You see what they're doing to cows, and the way they treat them and the way they raise them, and just the whole idea behind it, like making them lactate. The only time cows lactate is when they have a baby, right? So they keep them in this state, and it's unnatural, and that is a reality of dairy production. And if you don't want to be a part of that, that's 100% noble. But we have to be honest about nutrition requirements, not about the ideology of veganism. And this is the problem with these people. And so many of them, especially the ones with vegan attached to their identity, because they use the name, like I'm vegan warrior, this is vegan prince, I'm the vegan defender. They're fucking morons who joined a gang. And what they do is they start eating plants, they start talking shit, and they go looking to just go after anybody who's not on the same page as them. And the real problem is people that watch a movie like What the Health or something and then think, well, this is, oh my God, I'm killing myself by not being a vegan. No, you need to Google What the Health debunked and find out the actual science, because what they're talking about is bullshit. They're not being honest. What they've done is make a vegan proselytizing movie. They're trying to get people to join in because that's what they do. And a lot of these people, they give up. A lot of these people, they get to a point where their health can't take it anymore, and they fucking give up. Chris Kresser, he's a perfect example.
Yeah,
I don't know if you interviewed him for your film?
Guy. Not yet, but we will.
He's fucking brilliant, and he was a macrobiotic vegan. I mean, this guy was all off the charts with veganism, and eventually realized his body was falling apart and gave up on it. There's some people that own that restaurant in California, in Hollywood. What is it called? Something Cafe?
Gratitude.
Thank you. Cafe Gratitude?
Yeah, I know about that place. Yeah.
Yeah, these people were, I mean, their fucking health was falling apart. So they decided to raise their own cattle and eat their own meat. And vegans found out they got death threats and people were fucking going after them. Yes, man. It was a terrifying thing for these people. They're older folks and they have their own farm and they were raising their own farm animals and they decided to start eating them. And when they made these posts about starting eating, these people went after them, man. You know, this is not kindness, and this is not someone who's compassionate. These are fucking cunts that are in a gang, and that they're in the plant gang. And if you taught, and I'm sure you've seen it by doing this carnivore diet thing, if you do anything that's outside of that, they go after you.